And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Have you heard of the norovirus? Well, it's going around, and it's a big problem right now for this time of year. A doctor at Houston Methodist told me how easily the virus can spread.
So, Dr. Chowdhury, we're hearing that there is a spread of the norovirus and people should be concerned about it. But before we get started, exactly what is the norovirus?
So the norovirus is a really common virus that causes stomach bug symptoms. So basically nausea, vomiting, abdominal cramps, some fevers. The norovirus is usually responsible for those types of symptoms.
So why are we seeing such an increase in cases around the country?
So it's a really good question. Most of the time, noroviruses are usually actually seen between November and April. The last couple of months, now that COVID is starting to kind of the numbers are getting lower, people are socializing, getting out more. Because it's such a contagious virus, that's why we're seeing a little bit more of a spike in the cases too.
Now, why is it so contagious? How does it pass from person to person?
So norovirus is usually found in body fluids, so things like vomit, stool. So if somebody who has the stomach bug has not washed their hands properly, they'll touch different surfaces. The virus ends up staying on the surface for quite a period of time. So that's how it can pass on from person to person. Also, if somebody has the virus and they're not washing their hands properly, they touch somebody else, it passes on to them. So it's a pretty contagious virus that way.
Now, for those who may have it, what kind of treatment can you get? Is there any medication? Is there, say, a vaccine, or you have to do it the old-fashioned way with time?
So unfortunately, because it's a virus, antibiotics are not very helpful for it at all, but a lot of the treatment is geared towards what we call symptom care or supportive care. Most of the time with people who have the norovirus, the symptoms last anywhere between 2 to 3 days. So it's not a long drawn out course, but it's a pretty miserable couple of days that you have to go through. The most important thing really is going to be staying hydrated. If you're throwing up, if you're having diarrhea, you're going to lose a lot of fluid throughout the body. So staying hydrated is going to be very important. We usually recommend regular water, Gatorade mixed with water. Try to avoid sugary drinks because that can actually worsen some of the symptoms. If you're having a lot of diarrhea, most of the time it's better for you to actually get it out of your system. But if you're in a place or if you're still trying to do work and you're just going to the bathroom a lot, you can also take some over-the-counter medication for that. For the vomiting, a lot of times we recommend candy like ginger, mint, that really helps with the nausea, but your doctor can also prescribe you medication to help with your vomiting too.
Now, is this just something that adults have to be concerned with, or children as well?
Unfortunately, it affects all the different types of age groups, and actually children, we see it a lot more just because when they're in daycare, when they're in school, kids are still learning how to wash hands properly and thoroughly.
Little nasty cells.
They're learning. But unfortunately, because they're also learning, it spreads a lot more in those cases as well. So it can affect everybody. And then once kids have it, they bring it home, parents get it, and it's just kind of a vicious cycle.
Now, Dr. Chowdhury, how do you know the difference from just a plain stomach ache? You may have had something bad, or you're just having a stomach ache, or you have norovirus. How would you know the difference?
Another really good question. Unfortunately, sometimes it's a little hard to tell just because all the symptoms present very similarly. Most of the time with traditional food poisoning, if you ate, bad Chinese food or takeout food or just something that was left out for a long period of time, those types of symptoms usually get better in about a day. So most of the time, traditional food poisoning doesn't last anything longer than a day. The norovirus can take a couple of days to get better. So that's usually the biggest differentiating factor.
All right. And if you're infected, how long before you start seeing those symptoms?
So a lot of the times it can be anywhere between a couple of days, and some people, after they get exposed to the virus, within the next day, they can also show symptoms. But most of the time, symptoms last for about 2 to 3 days, and that's when you're considered to be contagious. Once your symptoms start getting better, you're not as contagious at that point.
And of course, if you feel like you have it, the best line of defense is to go to your doctor, right?
Exactly. Just get yourself checked out, make sure that you're not losing too much fluid, make sure that it's not anything else, and we're more than happy to take a look at that as well.
All right, Dr. Chowdhury, thank you for joining us here
Thank you so
on The
much for
Factor
having me.
Uncensored tonight.